I just found my wife has been cheating on me with multiple partners for the past 2 years. I'm in shock and I really need some advice right now. Me 40M and my wife 37F have been married for 10 years and we recently celebrated our anniversary. We have 2 wonderful kids together. Since the beginning of the year, things have been off between us. She's been acting strangely since the beginning of the year, irritable, avoiding me, and we haven't been intimate much. Some days she's happy, some others fully irritated. Sometimes she's a great mother to our kids, some other times she wishes they had never been born. Recently, I had to go to the urologist for a urinary tract infection, and the test suggested it might be an STD. This was a huge shock because I've never been with anyone other than my wife since we started dating. Right now, she's away at a so-called business seminar, of which I talked about in a different post. She has been keeping diaries for over a decade, and out of desperation, I read them for the first time ever. It turns out she's been having multiple sexual partners for the past 2 years. In particular, there was one affair that lasted over a year, and it seems part of her irritability was due to her lover moving on to someone else. I also discovered she has a hidden Tinder account too and been meeting with other men regularly. I am devastated beyond words. I feel lost and unsure of what to do, especially since we have 2 little kids who mean the world to me. I need some advice on how to handle this situation. Should I confront her immediately? Should I consult a lawyer first? How do I even begin to process this betrayal and protect my kids through all of this? Thank you for any guidance you can offer in this incredibly difficult time. Additional information from OOP. Thank you for all the comments. As everyone's suggesting, I'll try to consult discreetly with a lawyer ASAP, gather as much evidence as I can, get the STD treated, and, as painful as it is, perform paternity tests on my kids. To be honest, I'm a complete mess right now and cannot think properly. All kinds of thoughts are crossing my mind. Part of me still loves her and wants to forgive her. The other is just full of disgust and hatred and wishes I've never even met her at all. I wish I could just disappear right now. Comments. Commenter 1, copies of evidence to lawyer go full NC serve her. Don't drink, work out, good luck. Commenter 2, get proof, get a lawyer, do what the lawyer says. Commenter 3, assuming an open marriage has no appeal to you. Take a deep breath and start lifting weights and eating right. These will help you process the emotions in a healthy way instead of drowning in the bottle. Don't say anything to her. Document all evidence. Talk a lawyer first before making any moves. It's probably been happening your entire marriage. Get paternity tests on your kids. Suggest 23andMe as something fun. Plan your next move and execute on it like a divine masculine. Treat the divorce and custody battle like a business negotiation. Keep emotions low. Remember, this is going to be extremely traumatizing to your children. Keep their mental health at the forefront always. Do not talk badly about your wife. If she tries to destroy your relationship with them or lay the blame at your feet, just stay calm. Tell them you love them and this is between her and you, but you both love them very much and it's nothing they did. Don't tell them about your wife's indiscretions till they're old enough to handle it, if ever. Update September 11, 2024, 1 month later. Thank you all for your invaluable advice and support. It has been a tremendous help during this difficult time. After my last post, my in-laws kindly offered to look after the kids while my wife was away at her seminar. They remain unaware of the turmoil I've been experiencing. I used this time to go through her diaries and take pictures of their contents. Each entry felt like a stab in the back, leaving me in a state of shock and disbelief. I just don't recognize anymore the person I thought I knew and loved for over a decade. To avoid going into too much detail, the revelations in the diaries would make any movie or TV series I've ever seen pale in comparison. She has been involved with at least 6 different men over the past 2 years. These affairs occurred not only during her so-called seminars, but also during short business trips, dinners, and other supposed work-related events. Meanwhile, I was at home taking care of the kids and naively believing I was supporting her career. Some entries vividly describe how great these encounters were for her, all while expressing gratitude towards me for being a devoted husband and father without a single trace of remorse. This lack of guilt and the extent of her deception make me question her emotional and mental state. While reading through the diaries, I felt an overwhelming sense of despair and was seriously contemplating suicide. In the end, I sought refuge with friends for a few days, as I felt I couldn't be alone. Otherwise, I'd do something that could never be taken back. They really supported me a lot during this time and helped me get in contact with a therapist. I'm now taking regular therapy sessions once per week. They also help me in getting in touch with lawyers specializing in divorce. I'm also getting treatment for my STD as well. Returning home after picking up the kids from my in-laws was an emotionally devastating experience. I couldn't bring myself to smile at all. At some point, while contemplating all the possible ways I could end my life, my daughter just looked at me and saw my face. Without saying a word, she just came over and wrapped her arms around me. At that moment, I broke down, held her tightly, and burst into tears in front of her. She's my sweet angel, and the shame of having considered leaving my kids to suffer under their mother's disdain was almost too much to bear. For the first few weeks after finding out, I could barely sleep at all and had to depend on sleeping pills just to get through the nights. My motivation was at an all-time low, affecting both my home life and my work. I forced myself to continue exercising and found out it was the only thing that actually made me feel better during this time. To whoever said in the previous post that I shouldn't give up on doing exercise, thank you, you may have just saved my life. The stress intensified after my wife returned from her trip. Initially, it took all my energy to hide my disgust at her and the knowledge I had gained about her actions. I've somewhat got used to this now, but it remains emotionally draining. She did notice that something was off, but still appears to believe that I am entirely unaware of what has transpired. Her lack of shame is staggering. Just recently, she asked me to buy her the expensive gift I promised her for our 10-year anniversary, for which I made an excuse to not buy yet, despite her going into another business trip just the day after our anniversary, which was described in extremely painful detail in her diaries. To make matters worse, she was even arranging to meet her latest partner on the day of my birthday. Nowadays, I've started to feel a lot better thanks to exercise and therapy. I had never been to a therapist before in my life, and to be honest, I am regretting not having done it sooner. Despite my wife betraying me in the worst possible way, part of me still thought that maybe all of this was my fault. Maybe if I had done this, if I had put more effort into that, I blamed myself for a lot of things. My therapist helped me see through it that, while I could have done some things differently, in the end, I cannot be held responsible for the actions she chose to take, and no one deserves to be betrayed in the way I was. If I'm at fault for anything, it's for blaming myself for everything, always putting her needs ahead of my own and trusting her unconditionally without question. While it was extremely hard for me to balance work and looking after the kids alone every time she went on any of these trips, I always let her go after convincing myself that I was doing it for her, to support her business, to let her relieve stress from being at home, that this is what a supportive husband would do, and that if maybe I had a better job or made her happier, she wouldn't feel the need to escape from home. I'd be lying if I said I'm not depressed anymore, but I'm certainly doing much better these days. Nowadays, I feel more rage rather than sadness, and it is the rage that's keeping me going. My therapist advised me to channel this rage into the things I do, which has worked surprisingly well. I talked with 2 law firms about my situation and was advised to collect more evidence, which I've been devoting myself to for the past few weeks. I've finished digitizing all of her diaries from the past 2 years, which were quite a lot. I got access to her computer and found just way too many photos, chat conversations, and documents to help my case. She's been posting all of her adventures into a very distorted private group in Facebook, to which I've also taken plenty of screenshots of. I've compiled a list of all of her sexual partners in the diaries, and have been identifying them one by one on social media, etc. I've gathered everything I could on her current sexual partners and managed to figure out where they live and/or work. Now, I'm debating whether I should confront them or not. The things I've read in these diaries are so bizarre that I thought maybe she was just writing material for some sort of twisted novel. That is, until I found all the other stuff in her computer, etc. Maybe I'm broken myself as well, but a part of me is actually enjoying this process of gathering all these tiny pieces of evidence and information, cross-referencing them with her diaries, and finding everything I can about her and her lovers. Part of me wants to see her burn on social media by posting directly everything I've found out, since a big part of her business is centered around social media, but I'm refraining myself from doing so since this would also affect both me and the kids, as well as her parents, who have been nothing but kind to me since we got married. I'm also not sure if I should bring this to light to her parents as well, since this will probably devastate them. I'm planning on confronting her after talking further with the lawyers about how to make sure to gain custody of my kids. The country I live in has a rather unfair tendency of granting custody to the mother, even if she's unfit for it, setting the terms of the divorce and child support. In any case, thank you all for the advice. A few weeks ago, I was in full despair and had no idea what to do nor how to approach the situation. Nowadays, I feel that little by little I'm digging myself out of this hole I've been thrown into. Sorry if I don't respond to all your comments. Right now, my full attention is devoted to protecting my kids. Commenter 1, well, let's hope you talk to your lawyer again soon. I'm not sure why you need more evidence, but you have plenty now. Have her served in public. Heck, even at a seminar she is supposedly at. Commenter 2, don't confront. Don't let her know a damn thing until you have all of your ducks in a row. Don't post anything on social media. Don't confront any of her lovers. Just keep doing what you're doing. Let her find out when she's served. Commenter 3, what an absolute piece of shit your wife is. Document and keep gathering information to do everything you can to get full custody of your children. Do it for them. They'll grow up and come to understand that their mother is a mentally ill whore that destroyed their family. Keep going to therapy and see a psychiatrist and get on medication if they deem it needed. You need to keep your nerve and a level head as you go through this. Meanwhile, look up Grey Rock and 180. Story 2, am I the asshole? So, I 28M, recently lost my father. It was a really tough time, but we knew it was coming because he had been sick for a while. Before he passed, he made it clear in his will that I would inherit the majority of his estate, including his house and a significant amount of money. My sister, 25F, would receive a smaller amount, mostly sentimental items and a bit of cash. Here's the thing, my sister and my dad didn't have a good relationship. She moved out when she was 18 and they barely spoke after that. My dad tried to reconnect several times, but she always shut him down. I, on the other hand, took care of him during his illness, visiting almost every day and handling all his medical appointments. Now my sister is furious. She's calling me selfish and saying that it's unfair she got so little. She thinks I should split the inheritance 50-50. I told her I respected Dad's wishes and that I don't think it's my responsibility to change what he wanted, especially given the circumstances. She argues that family is family and it's not fair to punish her for their estranged relationship, but I think it's not my fault they didn't get along. She had years to fix things with him, but she chose not to. My mom, they're divorced, is on her side, saying that I should do the right thing and give her more money to keep the peace. Some friends agree with her, while others think I'm justified in keeping what I was given. So AITA for not wanting to share my inheritance with my sister. Edit, I've seen some comments saying this sounds fake or that I'm leaving out key details, so let me clarify a few things. First, about my sister's estrangement. It wasn't something that happened overnight. After my parents' divorce, she sided heavily with my mom and gradually distanced herself from our dad. She blamed him for the split, and even though Dad tried to reconcile over the years, she was unwilling to meet him halfway. I'm not saying she's a bad person, Divorces are messy, but it's not like Dad cut her off for no reason. Second, I know some of you might think Dad was playing favorites, but I don't see it that way. I think he divided things based on who was there for him in his final years. It wasn't about punishment, it was about recognition. Lastly, for those saying I'm conveniently painting myself as the golden child, I promise that's not my intention. My sister had her reasons for stepping back, but I stepped up because I felt it was the right thing to do. That's why this situation is so hard. I'm trying to honor my dad's wishes, but I also don't want to completely ruin my relationship with my sister. Hope this clears up some of the gaps. QA. I've seen a lot of questions, so I'll try to clarify some things to fill in the gaps. Why did my parents get divorced? My parents' divorce happened when I was 12 and my sister was 9. It wasn't one big event, it was a combination of things. My dad worked long hours running his own business, and my mom felt neglected. She also said Dad had a controlling personality, which caused a lot of tension. On the other hand, Dad felt Mom wasn't supportive of his career and resented him for working so much. Eventually, they just couldn't make it work, and they decided to separate. My sister blamed Dad for the divorce because, in her eyes, he was the one who chose work over family. Mom didn't exactly help. She would make comments about how Dad cared more about his business than his kids. I think this shaped my sister's perspective and made her more distant from him. Why were my sister and Dad so conflicted? After the divorce, I stayed with Dad while my sister lived with Mom. Dad tried to stay involved in her life, but the distance, both physical and emotional, made things harder. Over time, my sister started avoiding him. For example, he'd call her, but she wouldn't pick up. He'd send gifts or letters, and she'd never acknowledge them. One of the big breaking points came when she graduated high school. Dad showed up to her graduation uninvited because he wanted to celebrate her, but she got upset and accused him of trying to make it about himself. After that, they barely spoke. Why didn't my sister visit when Dad was sick? This is something only my sister can fully explain, but I think it goes back to their strained relationship. By the time Dad got sick, they hadn't spoken in years. I reached out to her multiple times, telling her how serious things were, but she said she wasn't ready to see him. Dad was hurt but never angry. He just said she has to come on her own terms. Unfortunately, she never did. Why did Dad just leave everything 50-50? I asked myself this too. I think Dad felt the inheritance should reflect the relationships he had. He knew I had been there for him throughout his illness, and he wanted to recognize that. At the same time, he didn't want to completely exclude my sister, which is why he left her sentimental items and some money. I don't think it was about punishing her. I think he just wanted to acknowledge the reality of our family dynamic. Hope this clears up some of the questions people have been asking. Let me know if there's anything else I can explain. AITAH has no consensus bot. OOP was NTA. Top comments. Commenter 1, so family is family now, but it wasn't when your dad tried to have a relationship with her. Honor Dad's wishes. NTA. Commenter 2, NTA, your dad made his wishes pretty clear in his will, and respecting those is totally valid. It sounds like you were the one in the trenches with him during his tough times, which probably factored into his decision. It's rough that your sis is upset. But redistributing the inheritance isn't a monopoly game where you can shuffle the properties to keep the peace. Maybe try explaining to her that it's about respecting what your dad wanted, not playing favorites. If peace needs to be bought, maybe it's priced too high. Commenter 3, NTA, you're respecting your dad's wishes and that's key. It's tough she didn't get as much, but like you said, she had time to mend things and chose not to. You can't just rewrite wills to make everyone happy. That defeats their purpose. Commenter 4, interesting how family is family when dividing up the inheritance, but not so much when her father was alive, trying to mend the relationship with he. Commenter 5, tell your sister and your mom that you would be fine if your mom left more to her, since the relationship focus went that way, but that you also will expect your sister to be the one that steps up and takes care of your mom when the time comes. NTA. Update 1, January 18, 2025, 2 weeks later. Thanks for all the responses on my original post. After thinking it through and reading a lot of your comments, I've decided I'm not giving my sister anything beyond what Dad left her. His will was clear, and I'm not going to disrespect his wishes to appease someone who didn't even bother to visit him when he was dying. I tried to be reasonable and explain my side, but it's pointless. My sister is still sending me nasty texts, calling me names, and acting like I stole from her. My mom is no better. She's basically turned this into a full-on guilt trip, saying things like, "You're tearing this family apart, and you're just like your father." Honestly, if being just like Dad means standing my ground, I'll take it as a compliment. At this point, I'm done trying to keep the peace. They can say whatever they want about me. I'm not changing my mind. I'm going to do what I want with the inheritance and move on with my life. If that means cutting some people off, so be it. To everyone who said I'm not the *** hole, thank you. It feels good to have some validation. For now, I'm focusing on honoring Dad's memory and making the most of what he left me. We'll see where this goes next, but I'm not backing down. Top comments. Commenter 1, tell your mom you are happy that you aren't like her. Hit her where it hurts. Commenter 2, glad you are following Dad's wishes. Sounds like mom and sister only care about the money. Time to block them. Commenter 3, so your mother and sister were estranged from your father due to him prioritizing his work, but want to gain from the fruits of that hard work. The mental gymnastics are real with them. It's not often people wear their hypocrisy so loudly. You're doing the right thing. Commenter 4, good on you for standing your ground. You're doing the right thing. Good luck. Editor's note. The next update is 1 year old, and it has not been posted onto the sub here. 6-month update on the situation. June 19, 2025, 5 months later from the first update. It's been a while since my last update, but things have gone completely off the rails since then, and I need to get this off my chest. Additional comment from OOP. OOP, since a lot of people are asking about the criminal case, I'll answer what I can. I can't get into every detail because some of it is still subject to court records, and I don't really want to turn this into a play-by-play of the legal process. That said, the charges stemmed from the break-in and damage to the house. The camera footage ended up being a huge factor. It clearly showed my sister entering the property while I was away and remaining inside for a significant amount of time. Combined with the condition of the house afterward, the damaged property, and some other evidence collected during the investigation, law enforcement felt there was enough to move forward. The charges included unlawful entry, criminal mischief, property damage, and a few related offenses. Again, I'm intentionally being somewhat vague because I don't want to post documents online, but it wasn't a situation where she was arrested because of an argument over inheritance. It was specifically tied to actions she took after the inheritance dispute. A lot of people have asked whether she served jail time. The answer is no. She ultimately accepted a plea agreement. From my understanding, that involved probation, restitution related to some of the damage, and conditions restricting contact. Some people will probably think that's too lenient and others will think it's too harsh, but at that point, I wasn't interested in revenge. I just wanted the behavior to stop. The sexual assault allegations were never part of the criminal case. Those accusations were never substantiated and never resulted in charges against anyone. My attorney's advice was to document everything, avoid public arguments, and address any false statements through the proper legal channels if necessary. I know some people were expecting a dramatic courtroom showdown, but real life is usually less exciting than Reddit wants it to be. Most legal disputes end with paperwork, negotiations, and people getting tired of paying lawyers. The biggest thing the criminal case accomplished was creating consequences and boundaries. For the first time since all of this started, there were actual restrictions in place. Whether people agree with the outcome or not, things became significantly quieter afterward, which was ultimately what I wanted. So 6 months after my dad passed and the inheritance was finalized, my sister completely lost it. I thought things were rough before, but this took it to a whole new level. First, she tried to sue me. She claimed I manipulated Dad into changing the will and accused me of undue influence, saying I isolated her from him while he was sick and pressured him while he was medicated. It was full of lies and reached so far I don't even know how she said it with a straight face. She even had 2 friends of hers sign statements saying they felt something was off, even though neither of them were ever around our family. Her case got tossed quickly. Judge dismissed it with prejudice, so she can't try again. I thought that would be the end of it. Nope. She started harassing me. Constant texts, emails, calls from private numbers. She made burner accounts on social media and commented on anything I posted. Signed me up for mailing lists. Then I walked outside one day and someone had spray-painted "thief" across my garage. I have cameras now and yeah, it was her. Clear as day. Had to file a police report and that's still in progress. Then she showed up at the house while I was gone for the weekend. Broke in through a back window. She wrecked the place. Ripped pictures off the walls, poured something on the couch, smelled like bleach, broke furniture, went through drawers, dumped boxes of my dad's stuff on the floor, left a note on the bathroom mirror that just said, "You don't deserve this." I reported the break-in. There's now a criminal case open against her. It gets worse. Right after that, she started telling extended family and mutual friends that I had sexually assaulted her when we were younger. That's where I draw the line. It's not just petty inheritance drama anymore. She crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. I've never done anything like that, obviously, and hearing that kind of accusation come from your own sibling is something I don't think I'll ever fully process. I have nothing to hide, and I've already spoken to a lawyer. If she says it publicly again, I'm filing a defamation suit. My mom is still trying to play both sides. She says things like, "Your sister is just grieving in her own way," as if that justifies any of this. It doesn't. We are done. I've cut contact with both of them. If there's a takeaway here, it's that people can spiral in ways you never expect when money and guilt get mixed together. I kept thinking, surely this is the last straw, but it just kept going. I'm tired, I'm angry, and I'm done. I'll keep the house, I'll keep what Dad left me, and I'll keep my distance. Update 3, June 13, 2026, nearly 1 year later. It's been a while since my last update, and honestly, I wasn't sure if I would ever make another one. After everything that happened with my sister, I felt like there wasn't much left to say. The legal issues were moving through the system, I had cut contact with most of the people involved, and I was trying to focus on rebuilding my life instead of constantly looking over my shoulder, waiting for the next disaster. Before I get into the update, I want to thank everyone who has followed this story. A few people recently pointed out that between the original post and all the updates, they've now been viewed over 1 million times. That's honestly difficult for me to wrap my head around. When I made the first post, I was just looking for outside opinions because I felt completely stuck. I never expected so many people to become invested in what started as a family argument over an inheritance. A lot of you gave advice that ended up helping more than you probably realize. The people who kept telling me to document everything were absolutely right. At the time, I thought I was being thorough, but looking back, I don't think I could have over-prepared for what eventually happened. Every message, every email, every voicemail, and every piece of camera footage ended up mattering at some point. For the past several months, life has been surprisingly quiet. That's probably the biggest update I have. After over a year of constant conflict, legal filings, accusations, and drama, things finally slowed down. I didn't realize how much stress I had been carrying until I stopped having to deal with a new crisis every week. It's strange how quickly chaos becomes normal when you're living through it. One thing that did surprise me was hearing from extended family members I hadn't spoken to in a long time. Several people reached out over the last few months, and the conversations were very different from what I expected. Instead of questioning me or asking about the inheritance, most of them were apologizing. Apparently, as more information came out and people started comparing stories, a lot of relatives realized they had accepted things they were told about me without ever asking for my side of the situation. Some of those conversations were honestly uncomfortable because I didn't know how to respond. A few relatives admitted they had believed I manipulated my father. Others said they assumed the lawsuit meant there had to be something suspicious about the will. One person even told me they thought I had intentionally prevented my sister from seeing my father during his illness. Hearing that was frustrating, but it also explained why some people had suddenly distanced themselves from me after my father passed away. The common theme in all those conversations was that people eventually started noticing inconsistencies. Different people had been told different versions of the same story, and those versions didn't always line up with each other. Once questions started being asked, some of the narratives that had circulated through the family became much harder to defend. For the first time since this entire situation began, I wasn't the one being asked to explain myself. My relationship with my mother remains complicated. We've spoken a handful of times, and while things are less hostile than they used to be, I wouldn't describe them as good. We still disagree about a lot of what happened, and I don't think either of us is likely to change our mind anytime soon. That said, we've at least reached a point where we can have a conversation without it turning into an argument within 5 minutes, which is more progress than I would have expected a year ago. As for my sister, there really isn't much to report. We haven't spoken, and I haven't made any effort to change that. Some relationships can survive serious disagreements, but what happened between us went far beyond a disagreement about money. Too many things were said, and too many lines were crossed for me to pretend everything can simply go back to normal. Maybe things will be different someday, but that's not something I'm actively hoping for or planning around. The biggest thing I've realized over the last year and a half is that the inheritance itself stopped being the main issue a long time ago. When I made the original post, I thought the argument was about money. Looking back, the money was just the spark that exposed years of resentment, unresolved family problems, and completely different views of the same events. The inheritance was what broke my family. It just revealed how broken parts of it already were. For now, life is stable. The house feels like my home, work is going well, and I'm finally making plans that don't revolve around court dates or legal paperwork. After everything that's happened, I've learned not to assume that the story is completely over, but for the first time since my father died, it feels like I'm moving forward instead of standing still. As always, thank you to everyone who followed this situation and offered advice along the way. I never expected over 1 million people to read about what happened to my family, but I'm grateful for the support I've received. Hopefully my next update, if there ever is one, will be significantly less dramatic than the ones that came before it.